think I need to adjust this a little bit. Yeah, maybe that's okay. Good morning. We're Thursday now. Hooray. Coming up on the end of the week. Still nice weather, pretty good. I have the windows open, which is always a good sign. Good morning, Susan and Dora. I hope you guys had a good week so far. I haven't yet to get out and do some yard work. I keep getting sidetracked with stuff inside. I think I'm trying to tell myself something, like I'd rather do indoor work. But today I think I'm gonna get back out, and then this weekend maybe finish that back fence. You never know; it could happen. So let's talk about. I'm gonna go. So I have kind of this sort of mental list, and I do have a physical list also of different things I like to talk about over the course of a year. We're probably about due to get back to the yamas and niyamas again, but I think today we're going to talk about this idea of heart-centered and love. Right? This is a real important part of your yoga practice. This idea of universal love, unconditional love. So we talk, when we talk about unconditional love, usually in our culture, in our society, we're talking about something like the love for parent and child. That is kind of what we're familiar with when it comes to unconditional love, that idea that you're always there for that person, no matter what. If you've ever raised kids, you know that there are times that they are very unlovable when they are treating you very poorly or really pushing you away as hard as they can. And our job as parents is to stay, right? To hold the line and be there, even when we don't feel like it, even when everything is, everything in our sort of ego and we're getting our feelings hurt and we're feeling put upon by all this. We put that aside and we wait. And we are patient, right? That is a good example of unconditional love. In Christianity, right? Christianity has the idea of hate the sin, love the sinner, right? I don't know how much that is actually practiced. I hope it's practiced. But the idea being, you don't have to love everything about someone or approve of everything about someone. Your job is not really to judge. Your job is to just love them, right? To just love them. This is very hard sometimes. Good morning, Rachel. Rachel, I was talking about you yesterday. I was talking about meal kits and meal boxes and how great they are, how much I am enjoying them. Still getting Purple Carrot. We're still getting HelloFresh too. We're just like, that's all we do is cook food out of boxes now. So unconditional love, right? Hard enough to practice in your own household. Kids drive you up the wall. Parents drive you up the wall. Relatives drive you up the wall. You don't have to like everything they do. You don't have to approve of everything they do, right? Loving someone doesn't mean giving them a free pass. It doesn't mean letting them walk all over you. But it means you will always be there, that you are always going to hold your hand out again, even if they slap it out of the out of the way. Even if they run, you're going to be there. Um, you may always be willing to make the first move. Um, that is love. That is care about them for their intrinsic existence. It's not anything they did, it's not anything they're going to do. It's not something they might do for you or they might not do for you. It isn't transactional in any way. It is simply um, springing out of you like a fountain, right? So, hard to do with your family. How about bigger than your family? Sometimes I think it can be easier to have a care and a love for an abstract group of people or something than people that you are with on a daily basis and who drive you crazy. Um, for some people, it is an easier ask. For some people, not, right? Some people they feel very tribal about their affection, as if uh, it is rationed, right? There is a limited supply, and I need to hoard it for just my close people. Well, that's not true, right? Love is infinite. It springs from a deep well. The more you give, the more you have. That's kind of how that works. It's an energy transaction, but not in the sense that you get something in return, in the sense that um, you're sort of dipping into that well, and the well is filling twice as much. Um, so, how do we keep this going? How do we um, keep focused on love and not judgment and not hate and not recrimination and um, we're all very quick to criticize. We're very quick to point out people's flaws and flaws in systems, or you go somewhere, you don't have a good time. You're going to tell everyone about that, right? You're going to make a Facebook post. You're going to put it on Instagram. But something nice happens to you, and no one thinks, oh, I should. So what? How about we do that instead? How about we pass along the good things and minimize the bad things, right? Um, Having compassion is the root of this, right? Um, you cannot uh, you cannot feel love without also connecting with that person on a real uh, basic level. Right? We are recognizing each other's humanity. Um, our connection is our shared flaws, our shared struggles. Um, no one is above death. No one is above loss, illness, um, heartbreak. These things happen to each and every one of us at some point in our life. Um, there is no one so rich, so uh, lucky, so whatever, that they will not go through all of these very human conditions. So let us have compassion for one another for this struggle and recognize some people are going to do it better than others, right? Some people are going to handle things better than others. If you see someone struggling, instead of condemning them, have compassion for them, how hard it must be for them. Perhaps they don't have the tools you do. Maybe they never heard of yoga. They don't know what to do with their anger, with their fear, with their rage. We do, right? We know how to pass through those emotions, how to experience them, let them go, and move on. We know these are temporary visitors. Um, we can structure and guide our life so that we are steering towards a safer shore, happiness. Um, some people don't know that. They are stuck in their unhappiness. So have compassion for them, have love for their humanity. Even people who are uh, terrible, right? This is the hardest ask of all, right? So we go from family, friends, strangers, and then we go to people that we don't like, maybe people we hate, maybe really bad people. I hate this. I said that wrong, right? Really, people doing bad things. How about that? There aren't any bad people. Let's establish that, right? There aren't any bad people. There are people who have done horrible, evil, heinous things. Um, but at their essence, they still are that core of humanity. And for many of us, that may be the hardest thing, the hardest pill to swallow, right? Um, it would be lovely to look at them and say they are different from us. They are something separate from us. But indeed, they are not. They are just us turned inside out. They are us if we have been damaged so deeply by situations, by events. If we have lost all ability to cope, right? We've forgotten all of our yogic um, lessons, all of our knowledge, all of our connection. We feel adrift. We are lost, and we act horribly as a result. For these people, give your full measure of compassion. You don't certainly have to approve of them. You don't want to maybe hang out with them or do stuff with them. If they're breaking the law, if they're doing things that need to be punished, hey, let's do it. Showing them the error of their ways, one way or another, that's what society is all about. But hold that compassion and hold the hope that they could find their way, which is all we are all trying to do, is just find our way. Um, there is a lovely quote by Ram Dass. Um, Ram Dass is a kind of old time yogi, from like the 70s, like old hippie guy. And the quote is, "We are all just walking each other home." And I love that quote because in truth, that is it, right? We start from one place, we end up at the same. And that time in between, we are simply walking towards our end. um, it's not a depressing thought. I mean, you might consider it to be a depressing quote, but to me, it's so inspiring. If we can keep our focus on that, it is a very equalizing feeling. It's We are all in the same boat, right? We're all trying to get to the same place. And if we can walk one another on this path, we'll get there better, right? If if you've ever gone on a hike or gone on a long trip, having people with you is essential, right? More people can carry more things. You can get to where you need to go um, by sharing the load, by passing the time with conversation or with distraction. Um, we are at our in our heart and at our core a social um, a social being, a social animal. So we want to reach out, but let's do it in a way that is full of love and compassion, um, not judgment, not separation, not um, distancing one from another, except for social distancing. That is important. If we're in a pandemic situation. But we can still find ways, even in a pandemic situation, to be close, to reach out, to stay connected, to show our love for one another, and our concern and compassion. So these are hard things. I'm asking of you hard things. But these are the things that change your life, that change your world. You will grow as a person if you can keep these thoughts in mind. Um, your life will improve. You will have a better outlook. Um, you go from a situation where things are happening to you and you are sort of at the mercy of what other people might do and their actions and their behaviors, to one of, um, you are the one. You've already decided, right, that you are going to extend compassion and love. Um, you don't. It doesn't matter what other people do. It doesn't matter what they think or what they believe or what they, what kind of hijinks they get up to. Uh, your job is to just love them, to just recognize the humanity in them, and um, to be there, um, whether they like it or not. Whether they appreciate it or not, right? We're not looking for a payoff. We're not looking for um, a pat on the back or a recognition for how kind we are, how loving we are. If you're doing that, then you're doing it wrong, right? You're still stuck in the transactional state of relationship, and um, that is that's gonna lead to unhappiness, right? Because again, you're depending on others to complete the circle. You are the circle, right? You are complete and whole in and of yourself. And when you know that, when you recognize that, when you accept that finally, deeply, you will have the ability to share that with others, to dip into that well and feed the thirsty. Right? It's a lot. It's heavy stuff, right? But it doesn't have to be, right? You can. It's a little bit at a time. We get there day by day. It's not something all of a sudden you go, oh my God, that's it. I love everyone. I love everything. I mean, it takes time, and it takes everything is a challenge. You will be challenged over and over again. Um, Believe me, we've talked about this before. When you choose a path and you're going down that path, the universe is supporting you, right? On one hand, it is supporting you, and you'll feel that. The universe will also test you. It will test your resolve. Um, Sometimes it's almost comical, right? When these things happen, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Thanks. I'm going to jump this hurdle. I'm going to push this boulder out of the way. It's it's a sign, right? A lot of times that you're doing it, right? But um, we need to know how we've grown, and that's how we know, right? When you are presented with these um, obstacles, what do you do? Do you get frustrated? Do you run? Do you get mad? Or do you just get to work? Um, this will tell you where you are and how far you still need to go. Um, and we all still have a ways to go because we're all just walking ourselves home, right? Each other. Um, and it's a lifelong journey. We won't be there till the very end. Right? Okay, so love. Um, this is this. universal love, unconditional love, we're talking about everybody else. How about for yourself? For some people, this is the hardest thing of all, is to just love yourself. Um, in yoga, you have to love yourself, right? It's the very, very beginning. You don't have to like everything about yourself, right? We all have things that we wish we could change. We have things, habits we don't like. Perhaps we're struggling with, um, you know, motivation, getting things done. Maybe we're struggling with body image. Maybe we're not happy with how our body looks. Um, Maybe we're aging and we don't like that, right? We're struggling with the changes in our body. We're getting wrinkles. I don't know. I looked today. I was getting some wrinkles here. What the what? But then I realized, hey, you just turned 56 years old. I think you're allowed to have a few wrinkles. So, um, all of these things are going to fight you, right? They are going to distract you from the real truth, which is all of those things don't matter, right? All of those things are external. They are just part of this human body and human space that we are inhabiting just now. They're minor inconveniences. What matters is what's inside, right? What is going on in there? Turn your attention inwards. Tend that garden within, right? Don't worry about the outside garden, right? I think about, um, so there are places, and I've seen them, like I think in Morocco and some different other places where, and you see this in cities too, where the outside of a building looks very plain, right? Maybe it's very nondescript. It looks just like the same as everything else. There's nothing fancy about it. But when you go inside, maybe they have a courtyard that is beautiful, beautiful flowers, beautiful whatever. In, maybe in a big city, you can't have things out on the stoop. People might take it or break it, or it's just, you have to bring this stuff inside. And I've often thought this is a good, example of what we're talking about. So the outside doesn't really matter. It's nice if you want to fix it up, great. How's it look on the inside? What's your little garden like in your courtyard? Is it beautiful? Is it well tended? Or is it a mess? Is it piled up with junk? I mean, I don't know. Only you know that. If it is, start there. That's a lot more important than what things look like on the outside. We get it wrong all the time, right? In our culture, all we look at is the outside. We look at everybody's outsides. And nobody wants to get inside. We don't want to look at the inside. We don't look at our inside, right? We'll look all day at other people's insides. We'll talk about it. We'll psychoanalyze it. We'll pick apart everything they said and what that means. But we don't want to talk about what's happening inside for us. This is one of the big problems, right, with mental illness and the struggles that people have with that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to even get help, right? They struggle with it in silence, which is terrible. It's a terrible thing. Getting help is imperative. That's the first step. If you can't look inside, if you don't want to, if you are afraid, you need to get help. You need to talk to somebody. Find out that it's really not so scary. And sometimes, again, like, it helps to have another person with you, somebody who knows the terrain. And a good therapist is absolutely going to help you with that. You don't necessarily have to do that, right? I mean, not everybody is wanting to do that, and maybe it's not so scary. Maybe you just haven't looked there in a while, right? Maybe it's not as severe as that, but it's too much trouble. You want to do other things. It's fine. But yoga is going to push you to do that. Take that look, clean it out, plant a flower or two, take care of it. Cultivate that connection with that inner guide. the inner voice. That is what will sustain you. Everything else is temporary, right? It's going to go. But that is going to be there forever. So again, that's the relationship that we want to bring. And when we have that strong relationship, we can't help but love ourselves, right? Because we are that. We are light. We are nothing separate from that. Our habits, our bodies, our thoughts, that is something separate, and they can be changed, right? Um, that's not who we are. We are not our body. We are not our mind. We are not our emotions. We are that light within. At the very base, that is the truth. So love it. Do it. Just do it now. All right, let's do some asana. Right, so I tell you these things, and you know it's not that easy, right? I know it's not that easy. But it could be, right? That's the terrible thing, I think, is that it could be. We don't allow it to be. We don't allow ourselves to just fall into that. But you could just let go of the anger and the fear and the worry and all of these things, the regrets and the sadness. Just let it go and slip into love with yourself and the universe. So let's sit and breathe. Drop the chin. And then moving the head around. One way and the other. So if what is inside matters so much, why do we do asana, right? Why do we work on the outside? Come on back up. Because these things are tied, right? Walk the hands out. You can't let the outside deteriorate and expect the inside to not notice, right? We need a good, strong body. Fingertips pointing away. Let's squeeze the shoulders together to keep the rest of us going. And the body is it's a great way in, right? When we move with the asana, we're kind of beginning to move the energy in the body. We are loosening up. We are getting ourselves in a state where we can maybe more easily move into a little meditation and work on that central connection. Right? Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sit tall, twist. Come on back and twist. So asana is a practice in and of itself, but it's in, traditional yoga, it is a preliminary exercise, right? It's the beginning of your practice. Come on back. It's not the end. Bring the arms wide and then hands together. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Interlace fingers, lift the hands, gaze up. And then arms down by your side. Lift, inhaling, and lower, exhaling. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Bring the soles of the feet together. Sit tall and lean forward. Come on back up. Let's bring the left knee out in front. We've got the right leg over top. Kind of walk that foot out a little. Trying to get the knees as close to being on top of one another as you can. Feel that stretch in the outer part of the thigh. Fold. Move it around. And we're going the opposite way now. Fold. Both legs out in front. Point and flex the feet. Rotate through the ankles. One way and the other. Bend the knees again. We're going to catch a hold of the toes or the feet. Lean back. Find your balance. Steady here. And then some extension. Okay, I just about tipped over, so know that it still happens to me too, right? If you're tipping over, don't feel bad. It happens to me too. And then set the feet back down. We're going to bend the right knee. So we're sitting tall. And then set the right knee down. The foot is up next to the thigh, or if you want, you can bring it up on top of the leg. You want to have it above the knee. If you're going to do this, you don't want it resting right on the knee joint. And if you're doing this, you'll feel it's going to press this the leg down. So the hamstring is going to be tight. You may not lean as far forward this way, and that's okay, right? This is just a different way to do it. If you don't like this or it doesn't feel good, then just put the foot back down here. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. So you'll see I don't go down nearly as far, right? Because I can feel my hamstring is stretching a lot. And that's good, right? That's fine. I want to stretch the hamstring today, but you might not want to. You might prefer to do it the other way. That's okay. Most of the poses do more than one thing, right? They're usually this kind of compound action going on. So it's your choice what you want to emphasize. Maybe you want to work on the hamstrings a little bit. Come on, back up. Maybe you don't. Maybe you'd rather work on the, being able to fold more, working on these hip flexors. I don't know what you want to do. You tell me. Sitting up tall. You got the left knee in. And then whatever you did on the one side, let's do the same on the other. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Back up. Bring the legs back out in front. We're going to point and flex again. And rotate. Take a deep breath. Arms overhead. Fold forward. And we're back up. Bend the knees. We're lowering down. Get yourself feeling good here, stable. And then knees are bent. We're going to bring right ankle on top of left knee. Whatever version of supine pigeon you like here. You could extend the leg if you want. And then set the left foot down. We're going to keep the right foot on top of the knee. Arms to goalpost arms or out to a T. And then lowering the knee to the left. This right foot is going along. We're going to set our gaze to the right. Moving back to that center. Let's switch it around. Got left on top. And bringing in the right leg. If that's your thing, if not, you're just keeping that right foot on the ground and pressing that left knee away from the body. Set the right foot down if it's not there already. And then we are moving the other way. So right leg comes down, Gazing left, taking a twist. And back to your center. Let's walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat. We're going to bump the knees together, so you're kind of knock-kneed here. Let's bring the arms up over the head and just take a few breaths. Let the lower back relax. And then I'm going to do a supported bridge. So I've got a block, got one. And we're walking the feet back so they're about hip width apart. Heels back, close to the body. Lifting up. Set the block. And breathe. Move your block. We're resting back on the mat. Bring the knees into the chest. You can rock a little side to side. happy baby. So reaching for the instep, maybe the ankles, whatever you are reaching today. Good. And then we're bringing the knees in by the armpits, kind of, if we can. There are ways you could do different variations of this. You could extend the legs if you want. You could just hang out here. If you want to move a little, that feels good sometimes. And then releasing. We're going to extend the legs. And be comfortable here, laying in Shavasana. Breathe and relax. So when we talk about this universal love, extending this universal love to all, people think, well, what if people don't love me? What if they don't love me back? I'm giving all this love, I'm not getting anything back. Right? They're afraid to love. Right? I mean, it implies for us in our mind a vulnerability, right? Because we're stuck in this idea that love is transactional. I don't love you if you don't love me. I don't want to be the first person to say I love you. I don't want to put myself out there, right? All of this stuff, as if it's a shame. There's some shame in loving someone who can't love you back or won't love you back. In truth, the shame is in never loving, in refusing to love, hoarding your love, right? There is never any shame in loving, in extending love and compassion to others. Don't expect it to be reciprocated. It doesn't have to be, right? If you're looking for a return, you're looking for a payoff. And that's not what yoga is about. Yoga is about you controlling the way things go. You're giving love. You are doing kind things. You are being compassionate. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. What matters is what you are doing. So focus on you. Less on others, more on you. When you're ready, moving a bit, you can make your way up to a seat if you want, or we're going to do some meditation. So if you want to stay on the mat, you can absolutely do that. Hands together. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Thank you for coming to your mat, sharing your love and your yoga with me. I hope you have a lovely Thursday. Namaste. Yay. Okay. I didn't get this set up, so now I got to get this set up. Find your seat that's comfortable for meditation. Um, this is I think love is kind of a great thing to hold in your head as a meditation thought. We're trying to think of that simple thought or image or something like that. Um, something that inspires love, something that makes you that you associate with love. Make that maybe your focus. It's a beautiful one. It's one that keeps you anchored, but also um, brings you joy. Right? Okay, so we're comfortable, breathing, relaxing. Got that steady focus. Okay, we're back. Hopefully that was a good meditation for you. Have a good day. Enjoy the weather, also a good one today. And see if you can extend some love and universal, big L, big L love to everyone around you today. All right, I'll be back tomorrow.